for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, so I'd like to call this meeting to order, and I would like a motion to accept the regular meeting minutes from September 12th. May I have a motion to accept?
I'll make the motion.
Jim, and second?
I'll second.
Okay, Cindy, any comments, corrections to the minutes? Not hearing any, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Any abstentions? Abstention, okay. All right, that passes. At this point, we'll open it up for public comment. So Mark Jacobs or Mr. Shorty Hoffman, nothing from Shorty, nothing from Mark. We will close public comments. Okay, DPW, we have Roger here, and he provided us with a report. So Roger? Yes. Okay, good.
Okay, this month, last month, whatever, we only had a week left. We paved Elm Lake Road. We're working on the bathrooms. They're coming along pretty good. We've been keeping the pavilion clean for the summer activities. We work on that Elm Lake Road in the dirt section a little bit, not a lot, because they're still behind a little bit.
Is that in reasonable shape, even with the beavers?
It's funny. The beavers are not an issue, I guess. Right now, I don't know if they're moved away or if they're just not busy. I don't know. Okay. Right now, it's been a non-issue, but
Terrific.
sure it'll start again.
Okay.
Garbage and recyclables. We didn't do much shoulder work this month. We just cut some branches, and we fixed 3 or 4 potholes before that we paved, because we wanted to get those potholes as smooth as we could before we paved. No rubber. We looked over as we needed, and we changed some of the lights on the banners. We haven't changed all the banners themselves yet. We have put our windows up there, so
Yes.
they're fall ones.
Fall, please.
This month coming, we're going to start working on the ski trail. The branches, every time we see them, we do that. The garbage cans, benches we're going to pick up and bring the dock in, and stairs at the beach. The baseball stuff, all of it. We have to get picked up before the end of the month. We're going to pave the road cuts and the sewer cuts for water digs in front of the firehouse. Garbage and recyclables, of course. Clean pavilion summer activities, that should have been clean pavilion for. We're getting ready for but we still have one more function, the wine and beer fest or beer and wine.
That was canceled.
Oh, was it?
Yes.
Okay. That was canceled, right?
The Beer and Wine Festival, they couldn't get enough.
Right.
Right.
Okay, so we're going to get that all cleaned up and get it ready for our skating rink.
Okay.
The shoulders on Elm Lake Road, our pavement, after it's packed down, only ended up being a little bit over an inch, so our shoulders are really good. We had to fix a couple of driveways, not bad, but we get them done. Working on the bathrooms at the firehouse, pavilion and beach. Sanding, paint, plowing, service sanders. And work on dirt section down Lake Road if we can. And probably not much more than we need, but maybe there'll be a little bit next month. The 60-day will be to continue to work on ski trails, start this week and next week.
Okay.
I just want to make that, just so I see us down there working, even though it's a private road, that's what's going on.
There was a big washout.
We didn't have to order any culverts this year.
We do or don't?
We did. I'm working on getting our little dump truck for plowing to replace the Dodge. Haven't heard too much, but he says it's in the works, so I'll call him again and find out. And then the pave the road cuts was the stuff that the water carts are part did and the stuff that we did. So.
Do we know when the state is going to pave Route 30?
I don't know how they are. I expect them to do it this summer.
Yeah, I thought they were too.
Maybe it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
They make all the little hat carts on the side where they take one, so maybe you think they're getting ready to do it.
Yeah. Are you calling Dean Carnival from the state?
About
Carnival? Yeah,
about raising that.
the signs and the paving.
Okay.
So we asked Roger to put up signs for the McComas Tower. So there are two sign areas. One is just a sign for the Riverwalk with an arrow, so that doesn't need to be raised. But the one that has the bathrooms, the Riverwalk, an arrow, that would need to be raised up, because by the time the snow flies, the McComas sign would be covered.
Should we just put an extension on that?
Well, it's a state sign. I don't know if they'll let me, but maybe they'll let me do it. But yeah, we just have to extend the things out and move everything up a little bit. Okay, my paving update is that we did on Lake Road Lane. It came out good. It was 2 long days, but everything was finished and we're all set. So, we're going to save our road cuts. The gazebo, our plan to fix the center of the floor is to go under there and get up a couple of inches.
I don't know how to turn off. I'm sorry. How do I turn off my notifications?
It's like, holy Toledo.
I know.
You're asking me?
Yeah, no, I'm not asking you.
Okay, good stuff.
Not asking you. Yeah, okay.
We're planning on jacking it up a couple inches, cutting the center post down 3 inches to have the floor come back down to that. Which after we do that, we may have to put weight on it to make the floor come down, but it will come down on its own after a while. The water problem by the tower.
Yes.
We're waiting for everything to dry up good enough that we don't wait more mud, but we're going to try to work on that. It's been so wet that we don't dare.
Does the county need to come back and reseed it?
I don't think so. There's only where we dug there. I think we can just spread a little bit of seed on that. So it seems like the grass is starting to grow back over there.
Oh yeah, it looks good. Looks good. And the drainage on the parking lot, Roger and I had a conversation again about that. So as you know, we've applied for a grant for engineering and green, if there's something we can do. So right now it floods pretty well, and when the waters recede, it goes away.
Yeah, it's so flat.
It's so wet.
The ditch isn't steep enough to drain all the water when it's draining heavy. And then as soon as the rain stops, it slowly filters away. But
Probably needs a little more slope in there.
I'm sure it does. But the ditch isn't very deep. If you slope it too much, it can be as low as the ditch. But like I said, I'm not an engineer. Yeah, I think that has to be raised up. Raised up and then slope toward the ditch or whatever. But if we raise the dirt part too much, that's be higher than the pavement. So there's a lot of confusion there.
Yes, you could do
Our standard that I budgeted for was right around $8,000. Now it's $8,500. My own budget is $8,000.
Can we find $500 somewhere else in your
I
budget?
don't know. Margaret one time said that the stuff from Oxygen International, that's what we got the mower from. Whether we can use that or not, I'm not sure.
For equipment we can.
I didn't want to say, I don't know the legalities of that, so I got showing that up.
Yeah.
No, we haven't, we're getting
A second,
a
Sarah.
second standard that is poly and has an electric motor that we can take on and off so that if one of our trucks is out the same. Because we got lots of extra plows, but we've only got
One standard.
other than our big one. So that was my idea. I don't know if we can come up with that, and that is not, we can wait next year.
Roger. Mark, do you have any thoughts on that?
No, it should come out of the, if he's got money in the reserves, it can come out of there. The $500 shouldn't be a problem. Crystal?
We have enough money in the reserves still. Crystal is shaking her head.
Order anything that was.
No, it would just, if he's budgeted 8 and he's needed additional 5, just move the 5 over from the reserves.
We can do that.
Yeah.
It's only
Well, they went to top, and they got a couple right down there. That's what they tell me. I'm full.
Okay.
But shit, let's go to it, get that out of here.
Well, let's put something together tomorrow. Did you get quotes from anyone else? Or is this a state contract?
This is a state, I believe it's a state contract. I'll have to find out.
Okay, yeah, confirm state contract and we'll get that together.
Yeah, that's a non-bid contract, so
Okay.
bid out.
All right, so all purchases for DPW going forward need to be approved first before you go forward.
Yeah, some of those purchases were ones that just didn't come in. A matter of fact, a guy showed up today and gave me the t-shirts that I ordered way back in June.
Oh my gosh.
They just showed up.
Hope they have links.
So some of these bills that are coming in aren't ones that went over your head and didn't. They're just
No. But I just want to confirm again that things are approved before doing that.
I'm hoping this is the last thing. I think everything is in that I ordered, other than I ordered the button and the vent for the bathrooms through drainage.
Right. So the button for there's an escape button for the McComas Tower.
Knock over that here.
Yeah.
And
So with the extra paving, there are a few extra spots that still need paving. So there's a corner on the firehouse that needs a little bit.
the one garage door.
And Downey Avenue, we won't be able to.
Downey Avenue, we can fix that whole spot there.
Okay.
And
So there's a
the only one that we're not gonna fix is
Woodward.
They wanna keep that in case
Right.
something happens over the winter.
Yeah. So what happened is Woodward, which was fixed earlier this year, we were leaving it open and then getting ready to pave it with this round of paving. It leaked again. It's been replaced. Ed would like it to remain unpaved until a certain amount of time goes by, and then we'll pave it with the next round of paving.
So this winter, that'll be left
Open.
praying for.
Right. And so the extra paving will happen when there's good weather. So maybe Friday.
Randy Ranaway called me and wanted to know if there was a possibility that we could plow the senior center.
No, it's private.
That's what
They've asked us before. It's private property, and we can't do that.
I know they had somebody that was Bert was plowing it for the longest time, but he called me and asked me, and I said I run it my way.
Yeah,
I said I can't tell you yes.
Yeah, they wanted gravel at one time, and we determined we couldn't do that.
Yeah, we can't do it. It's the senior center owns it. Yeah. So we can't do that.
Well, I sort of figured that would be the answer, but I told him I would go take it to my board.
See, even if it was owned by Lake Pleasant, then we could do a mutual contract, right? And that's the way we have an agreement, through the school that we plow the school. But the senior center is private, and we wouldn't be able to do that. They'd have to contract someone private.
Why we asked us to do it? I'm not sure. I don't know. Maybe because I shouldn't say
No, that's fine. We'll leave it at that. So, Roger, I do have a question regarding recyclables. So it's been determined today that the county has secured single stream recycling. So there's cardboard. So the only thing you have to separate out is corrugated cardboard, clean, and glass. So is that going to be reflected in our
email from Lisa Johnson from the county, and Randy had questions for her and sort of out in Marietta, and she said for us to keep doing it the way we're doing it until they figure out a plan of action. So right now it still stands that we separate it.
Separate all the plastic and the,
But that shouldn't last much longer. They're just trying to figure a plan of action so everybody knows how it has to be done. So she told me to just keep doing it the way we're doing it until she gets back to me with a plan of action. So,
okay.
You know, once that changes, we should only do cardboard once a month.
yeah, I'm trying. Well, businesses, we won't be able to do that, but.
No, that's okay.
Yeah.
Right. Right. Okay, and the bathrooms, how are we standing with
The bathrooms are coming along pretty well. We did not put the rail out there yet. I never got that message from Eric until Friday, and we didn't get a chance Friday because we had the morning stuff there. So we will move that this week. I'll discuss with them the half wall if we can figure something out like that.
Right, so the situation there is that it did have a handicap rail that, you know, would help you up and ease you down. And so with the narrowing it down or cutting it down to a closet and one toilet, the handrail is now in the closet. So if you're in the closet and need a handrail, there it is. So they're going to move that out, but everything is kind of tight in there if you haven't been in the pavilion bathroom. So the thought is to evaluate whether we can put like a little half wall on, on the other side of the toilet and put the handrail there and then still have access to the toilet paper and whatever. So they'll figure that out. And the flooring for the bathrooms in...
We haven't started peeling up the flooring yet. We're going to wait a little bit longer because it's still a very popular spot this time of year.
Okay.
I mean, it will start slowing down until the snow machine starts coming out, so we have that. And we've already got chisel and everything to do with a floor chisel, so we'll be doing that very soon.
And the bathhouse? And the bathhouse?
We haven't touched it all yet.
And will we be able to finish those before?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We could, slow days in the winter, we can work on that. So,
Okay.
But that's just a matter of, nothing really has to be done down there other than changing toilets, which won't take that long.
Okay.
Putting 2 faucets out.
Okay.
So that's not a big.
No. No. Okay. So I'm sorry.
Okay, and the last thing I have is the timer on the fence down at down at the tower. The timer is set from 7 to 7:30, 7 in the morning to 7:30 at night, which will probably change as it starts getting darker.
Yes.
But when that timer is on, there's no way to override that lock to make it lock. So if we're having a thunderstorm, you have to open the gate, open the box, and shut the timer off. So there's no power to the timer, and then the gate will lock.
Okay.
But you just have to remember, if you do that,
Turn it back.
when it comes back on, you have to turn the timer back on, so it's back into the timer cycle.
Right. So
We tried to lock it with the timer on, and it would not lock for us.
right. So they wired it such that the electricity has to flow at one point and be off on the other. So it's either when it's open or when it's locked. So a tutorial can be scheduled tomorrow for those people who have keys. So people who have keys is the office, the fire department, myself, DPW, and I spoke with Kevin Bronius, and he said that they would be willing to have a set at the sheriff's department as well. So because once the timer is on, I mean, once the doors are locked, you're locked. So that's why we've set the timer just a little past dusk, but it's advertised as being open from dawn until dusk. So, people who, want to run up there real quick as the sun is setting, they have a little bit of time to get out before they get locked in. So there will be a panic switch.
Yes, I ordered the panic button.
Yep.
And we will wire that in so that if they have to, they can press that button.
Right.
To get out. But
So that won't be an advertised button because we don't want it misused. So do we get notified if someone has a panic button? They have to call. They have to call us to get out. Call. Right. So right now they would have to call to get out. No, but when the panic button's installed, they don't have to. No, correct. Notified. No one's notified, right. So in the event that the panic button is pushed, it only unlocks it at that time. It doesn't shut off the timer, does it?
And I think they have to hold that panic button down and then push the door open.
Okay.
Because as soon as you take your finger out,
It locks again.
So there'll be no power switch to lock it.
Right.
So you have to hold the button down, open the door, and
Right.
let go of the button and let the door shut and go out.
Right. So far Noah's got caught. That's good.
I have a feeling we're going to see it.
I'm sure someone somewhere will do something. So, and there is a hydraulic,
I'm hoping not.
well, and there's also a hydraulic closure mechanism so that the door is always closed. So you actually have to physically open it to come in, and then it closes behind you.
Well, I think people, when they see the door closed, they're thinking it's locked, some of them know, but
Right.
if it's between 7 in the morning,
It's open, so you can pull it.
You just have to open it up.
And the thought is also that little children will be deterred from going up because they would have to actually pull the door open. So, I mean, you don't need, 25, 30 pounds of strength to open it, but a little child will find it more difficult to open it.
So now, the key to the DPWS is that readily available to everybody in the department?
Yes, and we got two. I've got one in my truck, and we've got one hanging on the wall that has both keys on it. And we do have a lock for the box inside. And I do have an extra. She gave me two, and I don't need both of them.
That one and one for the padlock will go to the sheriff's department. So if you can give me another padlock key.
Oh, I have another one.
So the issue is, those keys are needed when?
Those keys are needed when we need to change the timer
Okay.
and when we need to get in when the doors are locked.
Yeah, that's because of the timer.
Yes.
If the timer is off with no power, you need that key to open the door, or you can't get in there.
Right.
There's a key to the side. It's like the override.
There's a power out. It's just going to be automatically locked.
Yeah.
Correct. Correct.
Okay.
Which would be appropriate.
Yep.
Yep. Okay. All right.
Are there any other locks that the town the village deals with?
What do you mean?
Any of the buildings, just the bathrooms?
No, we got locks on our power at the pavilion. We got locks on the power at the point. We've got locks for
The bathhouse. We have locks for closets.
I've got a key box up there.
Yeah.
Keys on it.
Yeah.
The key to the Elm Lake Road when we shut it in the winter.
Right.
Where do you? Yeah, they're all no. That's going to be a big trouble if I try to remember. They're all labeled.
Yeah, but the snowmobile goes by there, right?
Yeah, well, we close it just when the snow starts melting as much. We don't close it all winter. We do leave it open.
We close it during mud season.
Just when the snow melts and the road is falling apart, we close it for a month.
Right. And it's when Elm Lake Road is closed for when everything is posted. Right.
Yeah, I misspoke. We don't close it all winter. Or just you go through
Just
it.
30.
Yep.
That's fine.
Yep. So garbage and recycling right now, on Mondays we use 2 people for 8 hours, Tuesday 2 people for 3 hours to collect on businesses, and then when Thursday is done, which is next week, it's only Friday,
No, so it'll be Thursday, but it'll be just businesses, so it'll be
3 hours.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I talked to Roger. We're going to eliminate some of the Thursday garbage pickups next year. We figured we'd do the week after Labor Day, and that would be it instead of running to the end of the month.
Because this right now, yeah, so we can pick up. The Monday pickup's still big because people come in on the weekend, but the Thursday pickup's small.
Right. Okay.
And how did you make out at the pier with, I think we did 2 places.
Well, we went to Canada too, and Kim hasn't contacted me, have they, you?
No.
To meet with them. And Mel stopped the other day and said there was garbage in the upper kitchen. And we've been up there a couple times and the door was locked. And he said, he doesn't know why they locked the door, but there is still. So he wanted to know if we could come up there for the rest of September, so we've been doing that.
Okay.
And Deerfoot Lodge is going to try to for a week. But then midsummer that they might not be able to, but they're gonna work with us as best they can.
Right. And then they've been very kind this year. They sent 11 boys to help us the week before July 4th, and they said that they would do that again next year, which would be great. So, terrific. Okay.
One thing there, do we need a resolution to move that money out of the reserves? I could work with
Yes.
Crystal and that big superintendent right there and get all the numbers.
Yes. So I think we need a resolution to do that. So we can do that at the next.
Yes. Okay. So I'll work with both of them to get it.
Great. All right. Anything else for Roger?
Just, I know you've been super busy, everything's trying to organize.
Oh, yeah. I'm talking about that.
We went to review one day.
Well, we've done a ton of cleaning, we still have a couple extra shelves up there. I'll try to get to that this week or next week. Things are finally catching up and things are starting to slow down a little bit.
And you have full
Full
complement of workers.
People and stuff. You might want to put that on here. That
Okay.
you're doing that.
Yeah, I will. And we did tear the garage apart, cleaned up a ton of stuff, so it's not as messy and
Getting ready for the winter mess.
yes.
You feel like you know where things are. A lot of people know.
Everybody for the most part knows where everything is, but this time of year we definitely have to get it cleaned up because pretty soon everything will be coming inside, then you have to have every little inch you can keep it to get everything in there.
Right, and then there was some discussion about the fire truck and where that goes, and some building, there were a couple things in, and where are we at with all that?
The trailers are still out back, the fire truck's in the trailer, and that's where we put our garbage bins, our benches. We have 2 trailers back there. We put our benches, our garbage bins, our lake art chair. What else?
But our chair's still in there.
Yeah, we never took that out this year. Well, we took it out long enough to get the benches out, put it back in. But the lake art chair is still in there, yeah.
So benches will be picked up Columbus Day, right after
We
Columbus
usually do
Day,
that right around that. Same time we do the
and the barrels.
docks and the barrels and the ball field, all that stuff. We get all that cover put on the barbecue grill,
Okay.
all that stuff. Get everything all packed up and picked up for winter.
Okay, and the
Flower pots.
yeah, so that's a lot of activity. How about like the cross-country ski trail?
Yeah, that's on here for being cut.
We're going to be starting cutting on that this month.
So, Roger, would you reach out to the chamber and tell them that the closet in the pavilion is now ready,
Yes.
and so that they can transfer their equipment and skates down
When
there?
we bring it down this year, we have to pick it up and put it in there at the end of the year. And
Right. So if they need anything down there ahead of time, they can.
I still have to, speaking of skating, order the extra mats that we talked about last year. I'll get them ordered.
Those are going to be, they're in the budget?
Yep, and we put them in the budget. Whenever you brought that up, that we should have a few extras there, and I will work on that this month, trying to get them in there.
Yeah, let's get them sooner rather than later. Let's get call me to sign off on your PO before sending it in.
And I would just say this, based on the quality of the skates, you put some skates in there and leave them in there all the time, they're just going to rust to death. So we might rethink
It's not our responsibility to care for them, Jim. So
chambers.
it's a chamber. So if there's another way to store them, or
Are
they need bins.
they interested in putting it in there? Or are they just interested in getting them out of their office?
They just need storage. They need a storage area.
And we made a storage area.
Because we made a storage area in the pavilion bathroom.
Yeah, that's what we made.
Right. So that's not an appropriate storage, you're saying now?
That might not be for skates.
In the winter,
yeah.
In the winter,
in the winter, we lock that bathroom up. That bathroom is huge. We don't outdoor or anything. So to have the skates hanging in there, I wouldn't work because that bathroom's locked and we don't clean to it. So, but they just hang them inside the inside wall.
Yeah, I know that.
But as of the last 2 years, I haven't seen skates getting rusty I'm just assuming.
And what about, like the
Jim, it's heated. It's a heated enclosure. Worst case, we can put WD-40 on the skates when we take them out or after the winter.
Spray them if we have to.
Yeah.
And that's where we're gonna put the hockey pucks and the hockey sticks. The nets won't fit in there, they're too big, we're gonna put them in our garage.
Okay.
Where we store our skating rink stuff is where we put the nets in there, so.
Okay. All right.
But we tried the nets down there, but they're too big to get in there.
I think something that can be stored up like lights, when people on the ceiling.
It's a bad thing that can't be, because I don't want to fall on somebody's head. But, we could store them on top of the bathroom in the pavilion, but I'm afraid that they would walk. So we just bring them up and where we have a shed that we put all of our skate rink stuff in, and just put them in there with that, and then they get locked up and they're good for the summer. Right? Because I'm sure they're fairly expensive.
Yeah, very expensive. And some one or two, yeah, all right. I'm just thinking if maybe they ought to be hung someplace when they come off the ice.
Well, in the shed, I'm sure we can take them up off the rafters in that shed, so that they're not sitting.
No, I'm talking about during the winter time.
Oh, in the winter?
When they take them off the ice, just hang them.
We can put hangers down there, but I don't foresee people hanging them up when they're down. No, maybe a few people will, but
Well, a couple of us would.
well, I'm sure there is some that will. I'm not saying nobody.
I mean, yeah, Eric and myself would hang them up after the clinics.
Yeah, I can put hooks down there on the walls that we add, so that they're not in the way in the summer. I can put hooks for them that hang on, even if they only have to be off the ground by a little bit, just so that they don't.
Yeah. All right. So something to think about.
Okay, I will check that out and I'll let you know.
And I'll look at it more closely this year.
Okay. We'll talk to Eric Colvig.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Roger, I just had one question. Did they have the sander at the location you're going to buy it from?
And he thought they had two of them there.
So can you give them a deposit to hold it until the resolution is passed?
I think if I call him and tell him that we are going to order that, I'm sure he'll have the point.
Make sure he holds it.
I will find
Yeah.
out.
If not, give them 50% down, and then in 2 weeks we'll give them the rest.
All right, I will tell him that. I'll give him a call tomorrow.
No, the payment would have to go through the extra.
Yeah. Mark, we can't.
15% hold.
Yeah, any payment has to go through an abstract. So it's a matter of him asking for a hold.
Yeah. I'm sure he'll hold it for me.
All right.
I'm sure if I tell him that we are definitely buying it, that we want it, I'm sure he'll to sign for me.
Okay with me, just as long as, because who knows if they'll ever get another one.
Yeah, so,
Pick it up in 2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, okay.
Unless I call them and they're going already, they have to order them, who knows?
Well, first thing in the morning.
Yes, I will.
All right, good.
They're open.
Terrific. All right, anything else for Roger? Roger, always a pleasure.
All right.
All right, take care.
Thank you, Roger.
Have a good evening.
Okay. All right, Mrs. O'Brien, our clerk treasurer.
Okay, I'm gonna try to make this quick. So, last week was fall training school. Was that last week?
It was.
I don't know, I'm these are all.
It goes
these are all-
quick.
Last week was fall training school. It was great, as many, refresher sessions and new sessions, which was awesome. I did duties of the clerk and responsibilities of the clerk treasurer, which is a refresher, but it's always good to have a little reminder.
And a little overwhelming.
Well, yeah, that too. And it just reminds me to keep up on checking policies and procedures, and there's the bank check fee. We're only allowed up to $20, so I haven't checked with the bank on that in a while, so I need to do that. Something we haven't discussed is fine-tuning our policies and procedures for credit card purchases. We have it in there,
Okay.
but I think we still need to fine-tune it a little bit more to,
And maybe that's something,
a little, yeah.
right, so maybe that's something that the finance committee can take a look at our next meeting and do that.
number of requests, or have gotten a number of requests in the last few years. But I felt like it was good to not only, since it's all kind of online now for the registrar, the death registrar system, they, it went through like the online stuff, and we got like legal parts of the requests, including genealogy records, because we have had a couple of those lately. So, which was
Interesting.
yeah. The administration of water and sewer systems, part 1 and 2, Rebecca and I went to those together.
Good.
They were super interesting, especially since there's some new requirements with water and sewer. The copper and lead, isn't it?
Oh yeah, they're testing for copper and lead.
That was one thing that's new, and they're going to actually have some more guidance coming out on certain aspects of that. We are now required to hold a public hearing for fee changes for water. We had to do that for sewer anyways, but water is now required as well. We can do that during the budgeting process, but we have to make sure that it is noticed separately. Right. And water and sewer fees are noticed separately from each other if we're doing it at the same public hearing. And we kind of have to like close one public hearing, like close one public hearing and
open the next.
Water and sewer, or water and then close that and move on to sewer.
Okay.
Like it's more of like the formality of making sure that people know, procedure, making sure that everybody's clear on we're moving on to the water fee, we're moving on to the sewer fee.
Right.
And they did say that it is actually a good idea to review those fees during the budgeting process every year.
Okay.
That's a good time to do that. So then what else? There was something else with that one.
You're just trying to Main Street, so you have like one that people come out once, and they just get those.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
So they have to go free separately.
Right.
There were a couple things regarding our outside users that I just wanted to check on with our policy. Or with our local law. I haven't gotten a chance to do that yet.
Outside the village users.
Right.
Okay.
We have like 5 or 10, like there's not a lot, but I just need to check to make sure we're properly reflecting our requirements there.
Okay.
And then there was just like a lot of really good discussion about that. I mean, it was one whole session was just on, just going through like the requirements and all of that. And then the next entire session was on like open discussion, questions, things people are running into, concerns, that kind of thing, which was really great. I always like to listen to hear what everybody else has to say.
Other villages and cities.
Oh, yeah.
Right now based on size and just and how they handled it.
Right.
Well, or maybe not so.
Right. And well, exactly. And being able to have that like back and forth discussion is really nice. They have updated their water and sewer publication. NICOM has, and they're going to be releasing that within the next couple of weeks. I think it's basically what they said. They haven't updated it since 2005, I think it was.
Okay. And are they doing another survey as far as fees go?
They did send out another survey in August, and I filled that out and had sent it off already.
Yeah.
So as soon as they get a good amount of data for that, they're going to be sending it out to municipalities.
Yeah, I think it's always very interesting because we think that our water is very high.
Right.
And we are actually on median to lower median across the state. Some people pay exorbitant fees.
Can we keep it that way?
Yeah. Yeah, but I think it is important to
Well, I think it was
share that.
it was so low for such a long time, and then it just had to go up.
Well, it jumped because it was being paid out of the general.
Yeah, I know. Right.
I'm not saying
Right.
Yeah. It was nice to be low, though.
I think it also is good because you can see what other people are doing, because other people, there were a number of people that have like a tier system, which was interesting. I thought was interesting, where they have like one rate for people who use below, I think they said below 5,000 gallons or something like that, and then they have a interesting to see, and a lot of those places also fill out the survey, so it'll be interesting to see how those structures work. We're a little small, I think, to do a tier type system or something like that. But you never know what will happen in the future.
It's also good to let the residents know that we're not overcharging them for water.
Correct. Yes. Yes.
So I guess I should ask Ed, but I know that right now we don't have meters on sewer. Is it?
Many
No.
places
No, you can't do that.
use their water meter
Okay.
to bill for their sewer.
Okay. All right.
And some places even have a computer program where they can tell how much water is being used, like, in the bulb and all those.
Oh,
Instantaneously. Wow.
Yeah, they have a system which they can monitor
All sorts of.
all the time, like any time during the day they can pop in and want somebody's account.
Let's
and
not
see
do
how
that.
much they're using.
Let's not do that.
Brother. Right? These are like, I think
Big
that was
cities.
more of the bigger cities. I don't remember which person was talking about it, but I was pretty sure that was.
No, let's try not to have Big Brother and Speculator.
Stuff out there.
Right. Yeah.
And it is a pretty neat technology because it's just remotely sent from each property, like each meter is remotely sent to one.
Yeah. And it's easy to see. Right, but it's easy to see if there are leaks and things like that.
Right,
So.
true, yeah, they catch them sooner. There were a lot of people that actually do monthly billing instead of quarterly billing, which I thought was interesting too, but not suggesting that because there's a whole lot of other things that have to do with penalties and when you get your bills and stuff like that, or when you get your payments and all of that run into problems with the monthly billing for the entire village, not just like we have to handle the woods on monthly. I've suggested before to maybe do that for the
Businesses, right.
which is something we might want to think about. But again, we'd have to figure that out with with Ed and how we would work the penalty. Like as far as right now, we take the postmark date. But if we do monthly billing and we say we take the postmark date, but we bill out, a few days after the end of the day, or like if it's a weekend or something, or the next day, it gets a little like funky with that whole system. So we have to like air out those. Anyways, any more water doing things?
No.
Do you have anything else to add? Short-term rentals. There was a session on that, and it was super interesting. I really hope they put it online for everybody to listen to. It was very interesting. I don't know if you were able to access some of the.
Yes, I was looking at some of the things, and I forwarded that to Trustee Smith.
There's a lot of really good discussion. There's so many places right now all over the country that are having this big debate over the short-term rental thing, and how to monitor that, how to not monitor that.
What should we monitor? What shouldn't we monitor?
So some of the places
What's our role? What's
that are making it work are doing they're creating a short-term rental registry. Actually, some of these places even have a rental registry in general, and then they have a short-term program. And then that helps with like monitoring and stuff like that. Some of them do have a cap on. Some places do have a cap on how many rentals they can have within their short-term rentals they can have within their municipality, as well as some places even have a cap on how many times they can rent out during a particular time of the year, which I find would be super hard to monitor and really hard to enforce.
Yeah. So my recommendation to you, Rebecca, sitting on that committee, is to make sure that things are discussed to make sure that they are within our purview, because DOH has their responsibilities and things like that.
Well, and also there's a lot
and what is enforceable.
There are a lot of lawsuits going on right now all over the country because people are feeling like certain short-term rental, like, there's being restrictions put on them that they are not supposed to be put on them, or what, basically that's how it is. There was one in Lake Placid, actually, that happened recently,
Okay.
that he spoke of, and, so I think we have to, like, carefully think about that, too. But you also have to keep places open
Exactly.
for long-term buyers, too. So that was really interesting. I really hope they do keep that up online for other, like, for the board members to view, especially with you being on that.
Have they designated a date when they're going to start?
Yeah, they did send out one little webinar thing for people to see them. That they thought was good on the short-term rentals.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where that originated from, because I haven't been able to watch it yet.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
And a lot of people are talking about noise. You know, noise.
A lot of people are talking about noise complaints and stuff. One of the suggestions was, or one of the questions was, can we require them to be, no, well, we have quiet hours anyway. We do have quiet
For a
hours
village,
in,
yeah.
in our village, but they were asking if they could require them to be on commercial property. Like, only, the rentals could only be on commercial property.
That would eliminate all the farms.
Yeah. That would,
Right, but, like, one of the other things, like, I think it was Wade. That was doing it. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it was him, but he was, they said that it was just, you have to be really careful about the properties that are already renting and having a system of, like, grant, like, allowing them to, the time and, allowance to come up to code or to, make it work. So,
yeah, and I think that, you know, there are the economics of it as well. So, you know, we don't have a lot of hotels. We don't have a lot of housing, you know, available for visitors. So, you know, there's got to be a balance. Right.
So the other thing is that if we did have a sort of fee for a registration of a short-term rental or something like that, we cannot, that fee can't be so much to constitute a tax. We're not allowed to do that. It can't be revenue. It can't be a source of revenue. It can only cover the cost to administer the program. So the law is pretty strict about that, I guess.
So if it was something that the code enforcement officer would have to do, then we'd have to calculate how much time would be
right,
required.
and then appropriately come up
And your
with
time,
that,
right,
like,
that would reflect that.
and, but not in excess. So, yeah, that was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Civil service was another interesting one. It was very packed. All civil service, as we should all know, all village employees, elected officials, and volunteers are subject to civil service. Like, they all fall under the civil service bracket. They do, yes. They all fall under different categories within the civil service bracket. They're non-competitive, except for certain positions are competitive. But most of them are non-competitive or labor or exempt. So, but they do all fall under the civil service. And then they have a new publication coming out as well, because there's a couple of new things, as well as after them as well before. So for that, yeah. Make sure that's all.
We're going to be busy.
Board meeting minutes and why the others cared. That was a fun one. No, it was more of a refresher, except it's good to hear that exactly what the auditors look for in your board minutes. They actually take your board minutes first and look at your board minutes first before they even come and do your financial audit or anything like that, or whatever other auditors.
Very interesting.
Yeah. So there's a couple of modifications on broken out into different, like this much for the A fund and this much for the F fund. It's not a lump sum.
Okay.
Fund.
All right.
And if anybody, I don't know if anybody noticed, but we did print out each fund separately this time. So each fund had its own separate total as well.
Okay.
So that more like coincide with each other.
Yep.
Most of that was, the policies and procedures, reviewing those financial reports. Our financial report is pretty substantial and includes everything they list once, so that's good. We're doing it on a monthly basis. That's good.
Which is terrific, and you can carry it over from one month to the next, which was not possible before.
Can carry whatever.
Financial report. So they're actually sequential, so you can track funding and things like that.
One of the big things they look for is, especially with our private, like the audit we had, they want to be able to see that they can track everything back, whether it's through the abstract or the financial report or cash receipts or whatnot. They want to be able to track every little,
penny.
every little, even if it was just a motion to approve the abstract, they want to be able to track it back and say, okay, well, that is what was paid from that.
Right.
For that one, so. And then the AED is being modernized, and it was on online platform.
Okay.
And it will be starting in 2023, so it will be this fiscal year that we will be filing that online. It has a lot of new features as far as like direct communication with them. Really, like you can send in, you can do if you need to file an extension, you can do it right on the website and submit that to them instead of having to mail in a letter or send in an email. So there's a part for that. There's some consolidation of a few of the not really consolidation. It's more there's like in the beginning it's going to be more information we have to put in, but over the years it'll track that information for like the schedule of indebtedness and for bank statements, all that kind of stuff. You won't be able to, there will only be certain instances where you're going to be allowed to put a negative number in. On the current software, you can put negatives in, but in the new online one, you will not be able to unless it is allowed during certain circumstances. They're also going to have a directory where you can look up each code, and you can only put in a code that works for the certain funds, which is great because it kind of alleviates a little bit of then once you submit it, after it's being reviewed, you'll get like a notification. And if you need to change something or correct something, you'll get a notification, and you just log back in and correct it right in the online. And you'll be able to see multiple years back, not just the last year. years when Roger does retire.
So would there be sufficient administrative support with Roger, given computer skills?
Yes. My thought is to have it in the cloud-based, set it up as the cloud-based option. That way, not only the garage would have access, but the village, we would have access here. I would help set it up with him.
Okay.
And if there was somebody from, the garage that wanted to step up and help set that up as well, I'm not sure if any of them are really good with computers or not, but I think it'll be a tool that could be easily learned to use. Their programs are not difficult, and there could be access for the mayor. We could have a sign-in for the mayor, or we could have a sign-in for the committee, the board member that is allowed. And when I say sign-in, I mean like Tracy has a sign-in for the accounting software, where she can go in and put abstracts in and look up reports.
You have different levels of
security, access, that kind of thing.
some can view, some can change.
Right, like the mayor or a trustee that's allowed access could go in just to look at reports or look at inventory, see what's maybe what roads are coming up. It just would help with a lot of
So my question is, because I know they track equipment and things like that, is it possible to extend some of the functionality for our wastewater treatment plant for tracking their capital systems?
I would think so, but I'm not 100% sure.
Well, I think that's something that we can ask.
Yeah, that's something we can ask them, and a demo would be beneficial to see exactly what the program could, what its potential is.
So does anyone have any objections about seeing a demo?
No.
See what it can do?
No, I would help Roger establish whatever we need.
Right.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I would make sure that they would be here for that demo.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, a lot of Roger's information are on spreadsheets that I've worked with him over the years.
Yeah, so it would take the spreadsheet aspect and put it into the next
It continues it makes it all on the same type of program.
right, so every time but even so with inventory, so every time an item is taken out, is logged out in the system and it deducts from the inventory list. Anytime there's maintenance on a vehicle, it shows on that vehicle card basically. That is what I understand. It's basically within the data on
What's been done or when the next one comes.
when it needs to be when the maintenance needs to happen again, that kind of thing.
Right.
I think it sounds really worthwhile.
Let's schedule something.
And it wouldn't be something we would do right now. I mean, it'd be something we would think about, we get the demo in and think about, starting it next year.
Yeah. Is this something that works for us?
Right, yeah.
And how much
we
does it
have time
cost?
to think about what we need to be put into it, how much it costs, and, would it be feasible, that kind of thing.
Right, and where that extra support comes from.
But it's only as useful as input getting it.
Right, garbage in, garbage out.
Right. They could generate more reports before.
Right.
Right, correct.
It's right out. There it is.
Right.
And with calendar features and stuff like that, if Roger's out for a few days and
Someone needs to pick something up.
someone could easily look at the calendar and go, oh, okay, that needs to be done,
Okay.
that kind of thing. Or the calls and complaint logs. I mean, that's all it's all would be stored within a system that anyone that has access to can look at.
Let's set it up.
Alright, that'll be it. Later next week, I'll be sending out re-levy notices for taxpayers, unpaid taxes. There are only 12, which is really good.
Terrific.
One of our lowest years so far.
Thank you, villagers.
Yeah, thank you, village taxpayers. The next board meeting, as everybody hopefully noticed, will be held on Tuesday, October 11th, since Columbus Day is on the 10th. So,
Tuesday next time.
Save on that.
Yeah, next time will be a Tuesday since it's, Columbus Day is the 10th.
Gotcha.
Pretty much I say pretty much every single year, Columbus Day is the board meeting falls on Columbus Day. It always happens with it. So,
Yeah, it's very, that's Memorial Day.
yeah.
I looked at the date and I was like, oh yeah.
Yes.
And lastly, before I look at the financial report and abstract, I have a resolution, for.
If you can share, I can pop that up.
I did share.
Oh,
You should be
okay.
able to.
Yeah.
A couple weeks ago, Alan Hoover called me with concerns about his service credit time with low staff. And I told him that, to give the Penflex people a call, but I would also look into what I could find on Chapter. And we did find that there were 2 years that were unaccounted for, or unintentionally not
So in other words,
related to his low staff.
right. So in other words, he worked for 15 years. He served on the fire department. He met all of his requirements. He moved out of the area for a period of time, came back in, applied again for membership. It was approved. He did it for 2 years. So whenever there's a membership added for LoSAP, it gets sent to the program administrator, and at the time it was VFIS. They did not put it on their list. So there was
when we went to do our evaluation the next year, they just go down the list and say whether those people on the list earned their service credits for the year or did not. And since he did not come up on the list because they didn't add him, he wasn't given those service credits. Although I do have, Brian and I went through the paper,
we have documentation that he did meet the service requirement.
did meet his service credit requirements.
Right.
So this resolution is just laying out what happened, and asking the board to approve the addition of the 2 years of service that were not correctly allocated, to give him a total of 17 years within the LoSAP system to be processed in the 2022 valuation.
Right. So, can I have a motion to correct Ellen Hoover's LoSAP years?
So moved.
Rebecca and Mark. Okay. Any questions, comments? Alan has since left the area again, so he's not with the fire department at this time.
But still, it needs that.
Yeah, no, he needs that, right. So, okay. So hearing no comments or questions, all in favor of passing this resolution to correct Alan Hoover's LoSAP years of service, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion carries. Okay, thank you, Crystal. And so now we would like to approve the abstract, Fund A, Fund F, and Fund G,
And the TA.
and the TA. Oh, so there are 4. And the TA account. So, yes. So I'd like a motion. Do I need to do 4 motions then?
No.
Okay. All right. So I would like a motion to pay the abstract for Fund A, Fund F, Fund G, and the TA account. Okay. Cindy, Rebecca, any questions or comments? Okay. Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion carries. And then I would like a motion to approve financial report number 3. Okay, Rebecca, second. Mark, we'll give you a rest. Any comments or questions on the financial report? Okay, hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion carries. Good. Thank you, Crystal.
Thank you.
All right. As far as old business, nothing at the present time. We'll address something under new business. I will point out, though, for the McComas Fire Tower today, there was another article posted on adkexperience.com on the McComas Tower. And I think as a thank you to the village, the author of that came this weekend, brought her father and family for the weekend, had such a great time with the Tower Waterfall Challenge, the Apple Fest, going to some of the local restaurants. He's already planning to come back, you know, with his family, drag them back and finish the waterfall and fire tower challenge. So I thought that was really neat.
Yeah, there was a long line to the fire tower during the Apple Festival.
Apple Fest.
Yeah.
Great.
Right. And you could have the opportunity to go up in the fire truck. That's 75 feet. So there was a cute little redhead running the bucket up and down. She kind of got the hang of it. I digress. Okay, so NICOM conference report. Do you have anything to add?
Yes.
Okay. Trustee Smith?
Start out, they did a session for people who are first timers.
Yep. Good.
And the main thing they were doing was trying to make sure somebody had a conference buddy, so you wouldn't be there for a whole week and feel like you're by yourself.
Nice.
Because a lot of these people are coming back in 20 years.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like old home for people that go regularly. So I thought that was considerate of the person kind of putting that on to do that. So there were a few people from the committee that were there, and then it was mostly the new timers. So it was an opportunity to find out who else was doing this for the first time. So I thought that was helpful. I did go to one on Parks and Recreation, and it was very well presented, and it really just made me think like we're on the right track.
Oh, good. Terrific.
In that area. She was very easy to listen to because she was very smart and just presented in a very organized kind of way.
Yeah, they do have good presenters.
You know, it was helpful to me to meet some of the presenters because some of these things we see online,
Right.
or their names come up here through the meetings, you know, and it's like you put a face and a voice together.
Right.
Who those people are, an opportunity to ask direct questions.
Yeah.
Of
And they're very helpful during the year as well with questions and approachability.
Mm-hmm. And very open to following up with you. If you had a question that they needed to check on or you need more information, they're always really great about that.
Good.
And then I went to one about going through. And I was very relieved to hear that they're not coming for our wood stoves and pellet stoves anytime soon.
Good.
Okay.
Although those rumors.
Well, I mean, it really was a consideration.
Yeah.
But upon consideration, thankfully, they're realizing, like, especially in the North Country, like, this is not practical. Also came up about the big equipment, like, would be our cabin equipment and trying to get all of that electric.
Yep.
Within a couple of years, when things are still just being developed. So it was good to hear that some of that they're kind of putting the brakes on.
Yep.
And hopefully they'll be more reasonable. Let's move towards green, but not come up with some ridiculous deadline that nobody can.
It was very, very difficult to go green when you don't consider the consequences and what the alternatives, right. Well, the consequences, yeah. The infrastructure, definitely.
And there was
You don't have that
there. It
support.
was like, look, you want to put a deadline. I've got $1 million invested in equipment.
Yeah.
Now I've got all my fields growing.
Right.
And you're coming up with a deadline in the middle of harvest season?
Yeah. No.
I'm not going to be able to recoup. I'm not going to be able to make any money.
Right.
How am I supposed to switch all this fossil fuel generated equipment over to electric?
Yeah. And it doesn't work yet. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, you know, interesting to hear that, and that generated more discussion afterwards with some of the vendors who have been there.
Did they address the fact that there may not be enough electricity being produced to deal with that?
Well, you know, they give that a glance, I would say. But it didn't come across
But
like
those
they're going to get that in place for sure before anything goes forward.
But those are very real concerns, Jim. And I think that there are other concerns that are not being addressed at the state level or the national level, and that's the dirtiness of green energy and our dependence, right? So lithium and cobalt, even though there are mines and there are stores available in the United States, they opt to get them from overseas. So from Congo, where they employ children to do the mining of cobalt, or solar panels are coming from China. Windmill, the wind energy out in the ocean with those big propellers, are only 4 ships available to change those out, and none of them fly under the American flag. I mean, there are a lot of serious issues that are still not being brought to the table to be addressed. So our energy dependence, even if we go green, takes it more and more out of America's hands, and I, for one, would be opposed to that. But
and then the point that a lot of the people who are driving the federal regulations are from New York State and California.
Oh, well,
And these are the 2 states that are kind of at the forefront of trying to push for these things.
And yet we're tagging along because we happen to be part of New York State.
That's
correct. So I think it's important for us to speak with our senators. It's important for us to speak with our senators and with our representatives, and to make those concerns known. And it's important for anyone, regardless of what your background is to get out and vote, and to have a say with what's going on, and not let things go without voicing.
Wasn't able to go to the fire department because it was at the same time as Parks and Rec. So I thought I should stick with it.
Yeah, and we do have something on the books. We're still waiting for scheduling.
The scheduling of that, but
Yeah, so that'll be an in-person fire department. So that's
the reviews and chatter from that were just phenomenal.
Yeah.
What people learned.
Yeah.
That was
really is very good. Good. Anything else? No? Terrific. I'm glad you had that opportunity to go.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Would you go next year? Would you go to the next?
I would consider it. Yeah.
Well,
But I would think it would be better for somebody else to go.
You're going.
Yeah,
no, she's the only one who's gone besides myself.
Okay.
So I go each year as a mayor,
Oh, and then Crystal.
and then Crystal goes for, both of our job responsibilities, and then we see if there's enough monies left over to allow a trustee to go for a couple days.
I see.
I think it is helpful.
Put it in the book, but
And you do it this year?
Yes, I go in the spring.
Oh,
I didn't go in the fall.
okay.
Right.
There's 2 a year.
There's a spring, I think they call it a meeting, annual meeting
Yep.
or whatnot.
Right.
That's the one that Jeanette usually goes to. That one is 3 days, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that one's
Right.
3 days. The conference itself, the fall conference, is for, 3.5 days.
so that was a bit of an issue because Monday was only a half day for me, and I had a full day. But even if I'd gone Tuesday, Wednesday, we gave the whole afternoon off.
Right.
Yeah. So it's tough to get.
Well, they do like to encourage people to go out into the community that they're in. That's why they do the Wednesday thing, but
Right.
yeah.
Okay. Great. So let's see if we can do that again next year and send another trustee. At this point, we have an issue, a ZBA issue is coming to be presented next month. And we do not have sufficient number with ZBA, and we're in the process of trying to combine it, and that won't be complete by the time that issue comes. So at this point, I would like to make a motion to appoint Charlie Asher to the ZBA with a backup of Susan Hartman. And they are both willing to do that. That was part of the dinging that you heard, so I apologize for that. But they are both in agreement. So appointments to the board are made by the mayor and confirmed by the board. So at this point, I would like a motion to approve the appointment of Charlie Asher to the ZBA and Susan Hartman as an alternative. So may I have a motion?
So moved.
All right. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Rebecca. Any comments or questions? No? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed say no. Motion carries. All right. Yes, they are both terrific and active members. The last new business is a letter that I sent out from the Adirondack Park Local Government Review Board. What they do is they represent the Adirondacks in state legislature and different concerns that they lobby on our behalf. So this year they had three different resolutions, and to be perfectly honest, I've seen one come across, heard about another one, and didn't hear anything about the third one. So I do have to talk to them about that. So the first resolution that they've gone through and put forward to state senators, the first one is in support of the Barton Mines, which are located in Warren and Hamilton counties. So this mine has been in existence for over 100 years, and they're seeking a new mining permit that will allow it to operate for another 50 years, which is interesting. I had not heard about the Barton Mine, but it is. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So what are they mining?
It's a huge undertaking, and they get garnet, and they use it in industrial sandpaper.
Oh gosh, I knew the garnet. Oh, so those are the garnet mines.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Good. So obviously that employs quite a number of people, and as you know, there's not a lot of industry within the Adirondacks, so I think that would be great. The second one is the Conservation Subdivision Design Bill, which passed the Assembly with no support from our state elected leaders. Thank you. So subdivision design is used in areas that have very little undeveloped open space. And the issue that they had was once adopted in conjunction with existing APA law and regulations that would be even more restrictive of public home subdivisions that already exist. So the resolution in the hands of our state elected are in the hands of the state elected officials, and the bill failed to move out of the Senate. So that's in place. The third one relates to the new concealed carry law. The review board and the governments of the ADK are clearly against gun violence, obviously, but the issues with the new law are not political based. I think they are. The law clearly was written to help urban violence, but they failed to understand the differences in our rural law. So they have unclear definitions as to a park. Are we a forest preserve? Are we, a park per se? They refer to us as the Adirondack Park, and yet, we may or may not be. And it's a big, up in the air. So I think that there's legislation going on right now to clarify that business and to, allow us to continue to have our concealed carry in the Adirondack Park that, many people support. There was, sorry, I didn't hear about it, but the Wells Pound Board invited the sheriff to come and do a Q&A and presentation on the concealed carry law, and I would certainly encourage us to do that here. Maybe that's something that the village board can sponsor and advertise, and get an area where we can set that up and have that clarified. How did you guys feel about that?
Do we have a building that we could be like the library?
We could do it in the library. We can do it in the school. We could ask North Country. I think it's too cold to do it at the pavilion, but I think we would have an opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
So, evidently, great discussion.
Yeah, I read an article from the Sheriff's Association. They're not even sure of the law.
Yeah.
I don't know if their interpretation would be fit.
Yeah, well, the interpretation is very difficult at present. I mean, if you read it as written, some people are saying, it's illegal for any of us to carry a weapon because we're considered to be in a park, right? So, which is, yeah.
what you mentioned before, we may be in a park or we may not be in a park.
Correct. So the definition of a park is up for grabs. So Governor Hochul misspoke when she said we were a park, when we're actually not a park, right? But she has applied it to the Adirondacks, which is not correct. So there's that.
The area is called the Adirondack Park. You're saying it's not by definition a park.
It's
Well, what kind of park are we talking about?
Well, that's the thing.
A state park or a?
We're not a national park, and we're not a state park. There are state parks within the Adirondacks, so like Moffitt's Beach and Louis Lake and things like that. But it's been called a forest preserve,
Right.
right? But even though we have an Adirondack Park Association, that may be,
Signs that say you're in.
or the Adirondack, right? So what is truly a park?
Who they call it? State park campsite.
That's a state park. That is literally a state park within the blue line of the Adirondack.
Right.
Right.
In the Adirondack Mountains.
Right. So, what I can do is I can speak to the sheriff and see if he would like to have another open forum and see how we can set that up and contact Lake Pleasant to join forces with that and advertise that and have those questions and answers. Okay. So with that said, they want money from us.
Yeah.
So
We don't want to do that.
they have asked $150 for villages, which I think is new. They usually ask us for more, but we give them less. So I would like a motion that we enter an agreement with the Adirondack Park Local Government Review Board to provide them with $150 contribution, and then they would be in contact with us and keep us apprised of these different resolutions and ask for our support in doing so. So may I have a motion for $150 for the Adirondack Park Local Government Review Board?
So moved. Didn't we send money to them last year?
We did it in January of 2022. You are correct.
Yeah.
And we did that because we missed it in COVID. So we were
This will
coming.
be for 2023.
Yes, this is for 2023.
Right.
So they do the fiscal year,
Calendar.
right? Calendar year, not our fiscal
Oh,
year.
okay.
Okay.
That messed it all.
All right.
So moved.
Okay. Mark moves. Who seconds?
Becky.
Okay. Any comments or questions? No. Hearing none. This would not go through until we'd not pay until January. So all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion carries. Okay. Board round table. Congratulations to the Apple Fest organizers. They did a fantastic job. Great traffic. Drew in a lot of folks. So I thought that was really terrific. And I understand that the 4th of July Parade Committee did well with their funding. And Shorty, how did the Historical Society make out? Good. All right.
Everything went well.
Terrific. And the fire department got a lot of opportunity to interact with folks, and the fire tower saw a lot of action, which was great.
Yeah.
So, some of that went on Facebook.
Yes.
It was well received.
Yes. I thought that was great. On a personal note, I will be out of town for 2 weeks, starting on Wednesday. So the Deputy Mayor Doniker said that he would step in for me. Thank you, Mark. I'll give you keys to the kingdom for 2 weeks. So I will not be at the next meeting. So I'll be traveling for that. So I'm sure Trustee Doniker will make it his aim to see how efficient he can run a meeting in my absence.
Hopefully.
At least 30 minutes.
Are you gone the 12th?
Yeah, yes, I'll be coming back on the 12th.
So what do you want to do with finance? Just the two of us?
We'll reschedule it.
Yeah.
We can move it.
If we can move it a day, yeah. Yeah. Okay, any other, yes.
I know we had talked about evaluations for employees.
Yes. Have not scheduled it yet.
Yeah.
I have not scheduled. That's on me. And will be done.
Trying to get that.
I can run up the evaluation sheets if you want.
Oh, that would be great. That'd be great. Thank you, Mark. Okay, anything else? The camper laws, I was able to get some representative laws from other communities for Trustee Rumsey and I to review and see what we should do. I thought it was very interesting that the perspective many towns take is that when you do longer term camping, they view it as a residence. And so, they seek to apply those same rules that you would for a permanent residence. So, particularly with respect to sewer and water and trash and, that sort of business. So, so I think within the next several weeks, we should review those and
Copy of those.
compare. I sent that to you in an email on the.
Using their property, but there's nothing there now. Trailer comes on, and they're using it more like as a permanent home.
Well, so our taxes property taxes are based on the assessment from the county does for the village.
Right, so say the county assesses it as a piece of land,
And
now
that's their tax for it.
Correct. So if they
we
would
can use the resources of the village with the water and the sewer and everything like
Well,
that.
that's the water and sewer.
then they pay for water and sewer. Right. So it's a matter of, what kind of camper you put on there, the length of time, that it's on there. Is it movable? Which is usually what's required. Right. So
And that might be where like a permanent fee comes in or something.
correct.
So,
Correct. So right now it's only 2 weeks out of the year, which isn't very much, I don't think, especially during summers, with people visiting and things like that. I think we need to evaluate, the longer term use of it, because obviously in the past we've not allowed people to have campers on village property while a home is being built, or and sometimes that drags on, and so we're not the village is not seeing properties completed. They're not getting C of Os and things like that. So a lot of things to consider. Any other roundtable? I do have one more. We were approached. The code enforcement officer and myself visited Mr. Fuhrer this week to follow up on some of his comments and some discussion we had. And he did throw out there asking if the village might be interested in hosting a tiny home show or tiny home, forum or whatever. So I said, we would talk about it. Of course, we'd have to see what that proposal would look like, and of course, contact the Chamber of Commerce to see what they would do. My only comment was how much damage is done to ball fields, bringing in tiny homes and things like that, and probably something that's done when the ground is really hard is a good. Right. I mean, you could do something really huge and have it in a couple of different spaces within the village. But I thought that was, that'd be really interesting to bring more people into the county and more people into the village and the town and help with that. Yeah, and he also noted that he was looking for some folks who'd be interested in learning some skills in rehabbing RVs and solar and things like that. So there could be some nice opportunities for young people in with some skilled training. But we'll follow up with him on that. Okay, so hearing nothing else, Mark, would you like to?
I'd like to adjourn this meeting.
All right. So thank you. I will see you in a couple of weeks. Great. Thank you. No, going to